Hello. Welcome, welcome. We've got a few people joining us. We're getting ready to get started. Hello, all. Welcome. Welcome to this week's webinar. Mm. Hello. Hi, Sheila. Welcome. Thank you. We're so excited to have you here. Hi, everybody. We have quite a few people joining. We're going to give it just one more minute before we get launched. Got to find quite a few people that are coming in. Rebecca asked, this is for the floral. Yes, today this is the floral session. For this one, we have another session a little bit later that's going to be more catering and venue specific. So for this session, this one is specifically floral. We're going to be talking about things that are very relevant to our floral or design customers. Sometimes planners also will do things like that. So, yep, that's correct. This is for the floral. All right. Well, welcome, everybody, to week 3 of our Level Up with Curate series. We are so excited. I love going over these pieces with people in particular because all of them have such a distinct impact on the user experience. So, things that would take you hours and hours of time, the stuff that we're going to go over today, it will save you hours and hours of time. It is incredible the stuff that you can accomplish in the system using Curate. So we're going to talk about some things today that will help with those things. So, yeah, like I said, welcome. We're Curate, the software that helps you stay organized, save time, and keep every event running smoothly with way less chaos. I'm Shannon, your self proclaimed Curate expert. We've got Brooklyn that's joined us today. She's a product manager here at Curate. And then we've got Cheryl. She is also works in customer success here at Curate. You'll kind of see her sometimes in chat. You'll see her sometimes on trainings. She really is, has her hands in a lot to just trying to help our customers. Cheryl will be working chat today. So if you have questions, if you have something that you're really excited about, sometimes we'll see things that people submit that is really fun to share with our team of saying, I love this feature, or this is something that's made a really big impact. Sometimes we'll see pieces like that, and we love collecting those and sharing those with our team. You really, as a customer, most customers only see very few of the larger Curate team. And so we love sharing those things. That's such a big encouragement to them to see that they are making an impact in people's lives. The work that they're doing every day is impacting our customers' lives. So feel free, leave us a chat or leave us put a message in there. We're happy to share it with our team so that they can see the impact that they're having. Um, as we usually talk about, if you want to share some product feedback, we have that link where you can share some product feedback directly with the team. We do see that come through. We go through all of that feedback and attach it to features, showing that people want things to be built out. Every time you do that, it's a vote. It pushes your thing up. And so definitely do that. We also have our Curate community where you can connect with other people and ask questions, leave your tips and tricks, things like that in there as well. So we can share those links with you. Brooklyn's throwing them out into chat. So if you don't have them, I'll also put them in the follow-up email that we'll send over. And just a reminder, if you attend 4 out of the 5 sessions, we will send over a Curate certification. So we've got this week that we're gonna work through these things, but in just a few more weeks to go. Feel free to drop your questions, your ideas, your tips right in the chat. We're going to be keeping an eye on it. But Otherwise, grab your notepad, grab your coffee. I've got my coffee, and we're going to just dive right in. Today on our session, we're actually going to talk through. Let me figure out how to move over a little bit here. We're actually going to talk through production in your event. So we're going to start with the production elements actually in the proposal, talking about line item categories. We're going to go through staffing. That's an add-on. We're going to talk through rentals. That's another add-on that we have in the system. Part of rentals, we've got rentals that kind of covers a lot of things. We're going to hit on recipes. A lot of people are very familiar with recipes. We're going to hit on that today. We're going to talk about production notes, things for your team. We're also going to talk about it on the overview, so specifics in the proposal, but more overview for your entire team. We're going to dive into the game plan tab. Sometimes people don't even realize the game plan tab exists, and some people live and die in the game plan tab. Like that's everything for them. We're going to talk about shopping lists today, different things that you can do with your shopping list, way to utilize that, ways to read that data, kind of know what's going on with that. And we're going to talk a little bit about purchase orders. We're going to lead into prints and then talk about the catalog. So, things that you can actually do in the catalog to keep yourself going. And then at the end, we've got two really big announcements specific to our floral customers. So I'm really excited to. We've kind of been keeping a few things under lock and key. We haven't been talking about them, but we're ready to talk about them today. Cannot wait to share those with you today. All right. So I'm going to get started. I'll lead the way. We're going to start over here in our events. I'm going to go back to that event that we started working on last week, this Alicia and Alan event right here. One of the things I do all the time is I will open things into a new tab. I'm a tab queen. I love tabs here. So, if we jump into this event, what we talked about last week was more the design side, building out the look of the proposal, the layout of the proposal, the styling of the proposal. That's really what we talked about more last week. This week, I'm going to hop over to the order side because I'm going to spend a lot of time over here. Now, when we're talking about the workflow, I might have touched on this last week. The things that I see most often for somebody that is in floral or design, they're doing those things. The things that I see most often for the flow whenever they're creating a new event, a lot of times people will jump into the portal tab. They'll build out those pieces there. They'll build out the aesthetics or the information or whatever. Most people will hop over to the orders tab and build out the framework of their line items. From there, you can go to the recipe tab to build out more information. You can even go back to the portal if you want to. If you like building it out in the context of everything else, you can do that back in the portal. What we're going to do today is we will focus on the order tab before we jump over to the recipes tab. So that's going to be our focus for today. The pieces that I actually want to look at first, I'm going to go down to this floral and planning section. One thing that we didn't really hit on so much last week is line item categories. So if you've noticed, I do have categories here for florals. I've got one for planning. I've got one for beverage. You can see I've got food up here. You know, we don't have any rentals yet, but we will have one category for rentals that are here. I get a lot of questions from people are what are line item categories? What is the purpose of these? What benefit do they show? What benefit do they have for customers? Line item categories affect several different places in the system, okay? One thing that they do affect is something called tax profiles. So there are companies that they need to charge a different tax rate depending on the type of item. If you put categories, if you utilize categories, that can inform those tax profiles that you're pulling in. Maybe rentals don't have a tax rate. So that would say, okay, on this event, we have a certain tax profile, no tax for rentals. That would allow you to be a little bit hands off. Things could be a little bit more automated. So that's what one thing that categories help you with. The other thing that categories will help you with are any sort of percent line items that you may do. So if I have a percent line item in this proposal, if I have some sort of like service fee or something like that, there we go. We've got this service fee right here. And I'm saying this goes on all beverage, florals, and food. I don't want it to go necessarily on my rentals. That's kind of separate. I don't necessarily want it to go on my admin fee or anything like that. That's what I would want to do my service fee on. these different categories affect those fees, those percentages that you're going to be doing. The other place that they affect is your reporting. We're not actually going to pull it up, but I want to tell you, so if it's important for you, you can come back and check it out later. Whenever you pull up a report, it will tell you the sum of the revenue in those categories. Now you can go deep in reporting. I'm a Sheets, a Google Sheets or Excel kind of girl. I love digging into the data. You can do a lot with reporting where you can say, okay, this is the general breakout of my events. This much of the revenue should be florals. This much of the revenue should be design. This much of the revenue should be rentals on every single event so that you know for your sales team or for yourself what should we be shooting for. These categories help inform that. They give you better data so that you can be more prepared to guide your team or make sure that you're going in the right direction for your events. The other place that they do is going to be on the prints. So we'll look at prints a little bit later, but you can filter your list according to the category of items that are there. That's another place that those categories affect. So we won't dig any more into categories, just saying that those are places that this category affects. So if you came from Curate Classic, a lot of your items may just be called generally product, which is okay. They can be generally called product. You can survive. But if you're looking for more data, you're looking for a better breakdown for your events to be more specific, I recommend building out categories to help you in that endeavor. Okay. Now, the next thing that I want to look for is staffing. Now, staffing is a rentals add on. I'm sorry, it's a rentals add on. It's an add on for your subscription. Not everybody has staffing. So, if you do want to add staffing to your account, just reach out to us, let us know. We're even do free trials right now for all of our add ons during this webinar series. So, if you want to try out rentals, if you want to try out additional users, if you want to try out staffing, labels. There's a lot of different add-ons that you could just try during this webinar series. It's just a time for you to try things out. Staffing is one of those things. The way that you utilize staffing is I'm going to go in here. I know I've done some pre-work before this. I added my roles. That's the primary thing. I added my roles for what are the different roles that I have in my team. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add a line item right here for staffing. So it's going to add a different one and I'm going to call it, I'm just going to call it staffing, whatever you want to call it, that's customer facing, that's there. All right. Now I'm going to open up that line item and you can see I've got my normal details, just like what you're used to. Sometimes people to put little fun pictures in here. I like seeing how inventive people are, but I can go over here to staffing if I want to build out who are the people that are going to be contributing to this event. I can go in here and this will allow me to quickly put in this information so I can accurately know what should I be charging to cover the staffing that is necessary for this event. So in this case, we're going to need a junior floral designer and a senior floral designer. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to my assistant floral designer. I'm probably going to need two of those. My pay rate is 15, but the bill rate that I'm going to be doing is 50. So what am I charging for? Which I've set this stuff already in the back end, in my catalog. It's going to automatically say, okay, for the day of the event, I'm going to say it's going to be from like 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. All right. So I'm going to put that in there. That gives me a total of $300 for this particular person. I'm going to add another one and I'm going to do senior floral designer. I just need one for this event. And then it's again, we're actually going to do, let's do the same. So 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. We need to wrap up by. Okay. So that shows me how much do I need for that person. So it gives me a little subtotal. You can have many people. Sometimes you have like delivery drivers for specific time frames. All of those things can be on there. And what it will do, it is going to give you a summary of what you need for that event. I'm actually going to make sure my markup profile is going to be this 1x markup is really what I want right here. So I can see, okay, I need $675 is what I need to charge. So it allows you to just quickly get an accurate and true count for the cost of what you're going to need in order to fulfill this event. So it gives you more of a true cost for that. You also have this staffing tab over here. So it just quickly shows you a listing of everybody that's going to be involved in your event. So you can be sure that, I mean, the big thing with this one is you are being sure that you are covering your costs for your professionals that are coming to work with you for this event. So that's going to be the staffing. The other thing, the other thing that is in here that we've talked about a little bit is going to be rentals. So the rentals add-on. I actually went ahead and created another rentals section right here. Different people handle them different way. The thing with rentals is sometimes they need to be customer facing. Sometimes you just need them on the back end. You want to make sure that you're getting all of these items that you need. We're going to hit customer facing first, and then we're going to talk about adding them into the rentals tab. So rentals are special because they can be customer facing or they can only go into your recipe. Either one. Either one. So on my rentals tab right here, let me go ahead and just click refresh really quick. Okay. I'm going to click this button that says import from catalog. Now, on this event, you can see on this import from catalog, this allows me to pull in either saved line items, my products, or my rental items that are in here. I'm going to pull in, I know I'm going to need this black mobile bar. I know I need these linens right here. And actually, let me grab these candle holders as well. So these are a few rental items that she is going to want. You can do a search up here at the top. You can look at it with your tags over here if you want to search via your tags or filter. There's a lot you can do here, but I'm going to add those right in here. Okay. Now, whenever I pull those in, those are going to come in with whatever information I had. I just didn't have a description on them. These two, I didn't have a photo. They're going to come in with whatever information that you already had on those. You can see my price filled in, and if I had a recipe on the back end, that would come in as well. One of the big things of the system is the ability to save line items to your catalog. All of those things would be there. You have that ability to save your line items to catalog. So it just allows me to pull those in specifically as rentals. All right. Now, some of you may have noticed, especially if you already have rentals and you know what you're looking for, something special just popped up on the screen here as soon as I pulled those rentals in. I'll give you a second to look at my screen and see if you can see what just popped up on my screen when I pulled in those rentals. Let's see. Anybody know? All right, I'm going to tell you the answer and you can see if you were right. Oh, I see some. I see some answers coming through. Yes, it's correct. We are overbooked on those rentals. So if I click right here on that overbooked rentals, this will tell me how many of these items do I have in stock, how many are booked, and how many are we short. So it's specifically for the black mobile bar. We had three different items right here, but the only one that's overbooked is the black mobile bar. You can see I've got this event with Samantha and Jamal. I've got this another one for Alicia and Alan. So for Samantha and Jamal, they've actually used three, and then Alicia and Alan just right now only have one. Okay, now it doesn't do anything else right now except give you that overbooking warning. Sometimes it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't matter if it's overbooked. You'll just order extra to prepare for that event. In this case, I don't know that we would order another black mobile bar for this event. That's a pretty big item. So you can determine, do I want to order that? But as soon as you pull that in, you're going to get that notification because it's going to be looking at all of the events on that day to quickly tell you, is that item already committed to something else? Now, if it's something smaller, say I had these candle holders, for example, for these candle holders, I'm going to say, okay, I need 30 or whatever. Okay. Now I know also those candle holders are overbooked. Maybe I don't care. I know I'm going to order some extra of those candle holders. And as soon as I update that inventory amount, that overbooking warning is going to go away. But maybe I do want to take action on that black mobile bar, tell them, hey, I'm sorry, we've already booked those out for this event. We're not going to be able to move forward with that item. That is one of the huge main benefit of having the rentals inventory add-on. It treats those rentals inventory a little bit different than everything else. That way you can quickly know, what am I committing to? Am I able to carry out that commitment? Is there any problems in the moment that you're putting it together into the system? The other thing with rentals is you are going to have another little tab right here. Now, for people that are users of Curate Classic, you probably remember we had that the rentals list, I think is what it was called, the rentals list. You're going to see a little bit more come to pass with this, so just be aware. Keep an eye on that for the people that really love rentals. You're going to see some more functionality coming in here. We've been working hard on that. That's going to come to pass here. But you do have this rentals page. The other place where you're going to see that rental stuff come to pass is going to be on the prints. So we will look at the prints a little bit later, as well as the reports. We're not talking about reports today. We're going to be talking about reports in a future week. Come on that week because there's some good stuff too. But we're not. There is that the rentals overview list, that the report that we've got there. It is very good for looking ahead at what you've got, making sure that you're prepared for events that are upcoming. Okay. So that's going to be for your rentals that are here, all of your rental items that are here. All right. Now, I kind of said it before. The other thing that I wanted to say as well, though, is say that I did build this out. I'd say I did build out these sweetheart table flowers right here. Let me throw a price on here just so that I can make sure that I have that. Let's do 375. Ideally, you're pulling from your recipe to do it, but I'm going to put a price on here. Say that I did build out something that I really like, even the recipe. Maybe I built out the recipe, I built out something really amazing that I want to keep for the future. I feel like this is kind of old hat, but I still talk to people that don't realize you can save your work, even if it's to save you time the next time that you create it. So on this sweetheart table flowers, I can go over here and I can either duplicate that, so maybe that you may want to create another option, but I can also save that item to catalog. So I'm just going to save it as sweetheart table flowers. I'm going to put my name on it just to know for sure, but you can also say like whimsical, orange and whimsical. You could put a descriptor of the type that it is, or maybe the types of flowers that's in it. Anything to just kind of help you remember whenever you're coming back to it later. But I'm going to go ahead and save and confirm, because then when I go to another event and I think, you know what, I built out something that was a good example here. You can go here and click import from catalog. You can look up that sweetheart table right there, and I'm just going to add that right into my proposal. All of that work that I built out with that is going to be here. So my recipes, my naming, everything is going to be here. I'm just going to take my name off of it like I would, but saves so much time. And you can freely make changes. Notice how I just took my name off of that. But if I click import from catalog, that same thing is right there. It is so easy. It is such a good way to save some time, even if you're just using it as a starting place. A lot of people tell me we build out bespoke arrangements, we build out bespoke proposals. That's okay. That's okay. You can save things and then just work off of that. Use that as your starting place. It's like a little cheat code for quickly building events and sending them out to your customers. Okay. I'm going to delete this right here. I'm going to do this one right here. Okay. Last, one of the things I want to show here is we talked about it a little bit before, but just a reminder, I've got this wedding favors one. I'm doing mini champagne bottles with custom labels. That I've got the quantity for the guest count, but something that you can do to save time, make sure that you're being aware of everything that's going on. You can link numbers in here. So I could link the number of bridesmaids, I could link the number of flower girls. In this case, I'm going to link the guest count because I know that I need these mini champagne bottles right here. And then if they come back later and they say, you know what, we're actually going down to 225, well, you might want some extra champagne bottles. But for the sake of our example, we're going to bump it down to 225. That allows you anything that is connected to that guest count, that allows it to quickly change. So that way you're not missing things, anything to save you time and thought of what you're doing in there. It's so good. Okay. Um, Okay. Next thing that we're going to look at, and I know I'm moving fast, fast, fast. Next thing that we're going to look at is going to be, I'm going to jump over to the recipes over here. Okay. Now, for a lot of people, this is going to be really old hat. You're going to be thinking, why are we going over recipes? I know, I know. We we do go over them. Um, but we still have people that don't realize how easy it is to put together a recipe for your event. So I know what I'm looking for here, but one piece of feedback that we get from people a lot um, is they think, oh, this list is tough to navigate. Something that I use regularly, that's like I said, I consider myself a Curate expert because I'm in this system hours and hours and hours and hours every single day. And I get to see the tips and tricks of what other people do, what they share with me, so I can share them with you. One thing that I do on this page, I know I want to go work on the centerpieces right now. I like to do it from the recipes page because I can manage my description, I can manage the name, I can manage the pricing and the pictures. I can build out my recipe all from right here. But if I want to find it on my computer, I'm on a Mac, but I think on a PC it's control, but on mine I do command F. So I get my search up for this screen right here. I think on a PC it's control F, but I can just put in centerpieces and it's going to take me down to that place where centerpieces is. So just a quick way of like managing this, or if I want to move to a specific section, it's going to take me down on that page wherever I can make that, wherever I can manage that. So just a quick tip from me, something that I use that is really helpful. Okay. In the centerpieces section right here, I'm going to go right here and click add recipe. All right. Sometimes you're already going to have a recipe on there. In my case, I wanted to add a recipe. For these centerpieces, we can add a few items in here. This takes us back to the rentals. So if I just want to pull something that's already in my ingredient list, I can add it right here. But to be honest, I prefer this import from catalog. It's a blue button. Click it. Click that button. It's so good. It's one of my favorite features. I love that import from catalog button. Um, so in here, you can quickly pull items that are part of your catalog. And just a heads up, you can pull from rental items, all anything that's in your components or in your rentals. So I'm going to pull this 10 by 4 cylinder base right here. I know I want that one. I'm going to pull a couple of other items. Now, I'm going to be honest, I am not the florist here. I do a lot with florists, but I'm not the florist. But we're going to do this Akiko that's here. Let's do the bridal Akito bush, and then um, let's do some eucalyptus. I'm going to add that in here. And notice I'm not adding. I'm just going here, searching, picking the stuff that I want, clicking it. I'm not adding them in there. But I'm going to grab some silver dollar. And then let's grab some um, thinking about just going to grab something else. Ch- chocolate sprinkle donut. That's what I need for this recipe. That's what I need right now. A chocolate sprinkle donut. Okay, let me try some baby's breath. Maybe we've got it. I don't think we have it in there as baby's breath. Okay, whatever. We'll just use the ones that I got. So I chose a couple of things. I'm going to add those right into my recipe. So I pull those in one motion. And then I can check the items that are going to be in there, and then I can quickly say, what do I want? So maybe for this Aikido, we want to get 6 of those. For the blush, we want to get another 6 of those. For this one, this is based on stems. Usually you might have them in as stems and bunches, but let's do like 10 stems for this one. Put those items in there. It's going to have the cost built out here. And then if I go down here to my markups, it's going to tell me what's my markup for my floral. So what's the total? What's the markup for my rental? So what's the total? So what should I be charging for that one? Now, really, I think this markup is low just from what I see. In case you're wondering, what do other people do for markups? A 3x markup is really on the low end these days. Most people are doing a 4 or a 4x markup on their floral item. So if that's you, don't feel bad. That is what's normal right now. That is what's normal. Generally, the best advice that I have heard about markups is do your markup high, because then you can come down on your prices if you need to for whatever reason. You want to do a special promotion, do a 4.5 markup and then give them 10% off or something like that. Looks better on you. You're doing this, you're doing something extra for them, but you go higher on your markups. But when you set your markups in the system, you can have those items. It'll suggest what should you do there. This one comes out to be 122, so I may say, okay, 125 for this centerpiece. However you want to put that in there. So some other quick things about the recipes here. If you've ever wondered, what does this unlinked quantity mean? What does that mean? Do I want to click that button? Sometimes you do want to click that button. What that means is if I have a line item over here where maybe I want to do a king's table or something. Everybody's done that. You have a big king's table. Well, I'm showing the customer I only want one king's table. That's all that we're showing to them. But on that king's table, you have four of the same arrangements. All right. So I'm going to change this. We're going to just change it in the moment. I'm doing a king's table. Um, I know that I'm going to do one. I'm going to show to the customer one, but I know I need four of these arrangements right here for that king's table in order to fulfill that. All right. So that brought my SRP up. I know that this is actually going to be $500 for this king's table. What that end-link quantity does is it's saying this quantity is not multiplying by this quantity. It allows you to separate those things so that you can be sure I can put whatever quantity I need to on my recipe, or I can put whatever quantity that I need to here, because it can go vice versa. You may need to put more quantity here, but just do one for your recipe. There's a lot of examples that we can go into. I won't go into all of those here, but that unlinked quantity is something that you can use. All right. Now, if I am going down into my recipes, maybe I'm going down to my garland and um, maybe I want to pull basically the same flowers. I'm going to click right here where it says from import from my catalog right here. You're going to notice it's going to push anything to the top that I have already used on this event right here. Already. I can go here. I can just pull the same ones if I want to. You can add more, but if you just want to pull the same ones, you can pull that in there into that line item and then start building out that one. So in this one, it is a garland. So maybe I need 30 of these stems actually. And then let's go ahead and do 12 and let's go ahead and do 12. Did you see how fast that was? I just built out that recipe. It was so fast. And I can know I need to charge 250 for this garland. A lot of times people will put something in here like 12 foot. They'll put something here that will say the length of the garland that's going to be there. But it's so fast whenever you're building those. The other thing that you can do with recipes is you can copy the recipe components and you can paste it into another recipe. So if I just want to copy whatever that one was before and paste it in here, makes it so easy to grab those items and paste them right there. In that same motion, I want to copy the recipe components, then I can paste them right here as well. I can paste those names in there. So it is really good. There's so much that you can do with recipes. I could talk about recipes all day long, honestly. They're so good. There's so much stuff that you can do with them. All right. But say we've wrapped up our recipes. While you're working on your recipes, you may want to reference this components table over here. So let's jump over here really quickly so I can talk about this one. This components table, this is kind of like a mini shopping list for just this event. So you can see, okay, where all did I use this silver dollar eucalyptus? Where all did I use those? It's going to be right in here. You can see the breakdown. Okay, I needed 40 of those for the king's table, 30 for the garland, 30 for the sweetheart table. You can quickly see where all did I use those items. The other thing that you can see here is how many leftovers do we have of those? Maybe for just two of each, that's not a lot to have left over. But if you have a lot more, you can find a way to integrate those back into your proposal so you're not having loss. So this leftovers column is wonderful. This is a great thing to reference while you're in the system working so that you can quickly see what do we have need of, where those things are going to be. We recently implemented, which we'll talk about this at our product release webinar, but we've recently implemented this search as well. So if you have a very long list of rentals, it allows you to search those things as well. Okay. All right. Now,
Also, a quick note, Shannon, on
okay.
the components table, they can pin certain, if you go up to the title, like where quantity total is, there should be like a little bar at the
Oh,
top,
yes.
and you
Yes.
can kind of make some adjustments there.
Yes. Yes.
Just a
Yes.
quick little note. I know we got a lot to cover, but it's
It's
kind of
good.
hidden into the table, but it's a cool feature to explore if you guys have time.
Yeah.
Click around and see what you think.
Hmm. Yeah. Way that I see people will do that is maybe you really want to you always want to see the quantity total. You can pin this one. I'll pin it over here so that whenever I'm sliding left or right, I can make sure to keep that information pinned right there. That's great. Okay. Um, all right. So we talked a little bit. Oh, Kirsten asked, is that a permanent pin? I think at this stage it's not a permanent pin. I mean, as long as you have the page open, I do that all the time. As long as you have the page open, it will be there. So if you're in there working, if you've got this one up, I know how you guys work. So if you got this one up, you're going to see that in there. But whenever you go to another one, it won't be there. But if that is something that you would like, submit that on the feedback board. We want to see that. Yeah. So for the markups, we talked a little bit about the markups. Just a note, I want to give a quick note about markups before we start talking about production notes. A quick note about markups. If you need to change the markup on an event, pretty common. If you need to change the markup on an event, I can do it on this event overview tab right here. I can quickly change it however I want to change it. I can do it right here. Just a note though that you can have a specific markup on your line items already. So if you changed it on the overview, that's not going to automatically apply to these items that are already in here. What you'll need to do is go in here, just choose the items, change the markup of those items. If you're wanting to change something that already exists, go ahead and update those markups that are there. So just keep that in mind. That is a question that we have sometimes, and I wanted to make sure that we talk about those things a little bit. Okay. Um, the last thing that I want to talk about, or on this for this one, is the places that you can leave notes. Now, we have really revved it up. All of the places that you can leave notes for your team here in the proposal. So, without even leaving the proposal, this is all the places that you can leave notes in here, right? One thing that there is internal line items. We've talked a little bit about those. So, for example, if I need to make sure that we bring a ladder to this event. All right. I need to make sure that we bring that ladder to this event. Well, I'm going to actually change that to what I call an internal line item because that will not show to my customer, but it will show to my team. We need to bring a ladder. It's just going to show up as a line item on my prints. It doesn't add to the revenue, it doesn't do anything, but you can throw a ladder on here. You can throw a cart on here. Anything that you want to make sure that your team sees and they grab, you can do add that as an internal line item because that will show up on your prints that we're going to look through in just a minute. The other thing that you can have on here is maybe for this King's table, I'm going to go over here and I go down here to production notes, these internal production notes. And I may say something like, check with Shannon before preparing. The customer likely will want to make some last minute adjustments to the layout, whatever. Any sort of items that you may want to leave here for your team. Something else that you could put here, you can also put tokens in here. So if anything that you're asking, if there's something that you're asking, you want to put some information, you can put those in those production notes that are in there. Okay. The other places that you can leave some notes, I think this one is kind of obvious, but I'll say it anyways. I'm going to do my Command F again. I think on a PC it's going to be Control F, if I'm remembering right. But Command F, let me go to my King's table really quickly. And on my floral garland, I'm going to put a little note here. I'm going to say, uh, start with the eucalyptus, start with the euc, and gradually add the roses. Start with the uke and add the roses on location. All right. So any sort of notes, could be production notes, anything like that that you may want to put in there, you can put those in there as well. All right. Um, those are the ones that are going to be inside of the event. All right. Now the other ones is going to be over here. If I click on this overview, this is going to be the notes that you can put here really for anything. This description is all of this in this overview is for you and for your team. You can put something in here in this description that maybe you want to make sure that your team sees, some information that your team sees. I'm just going to put here is an example of an event description. All right. So if you put something in there, you can link information. A hot tip, I will say this is a hot tip. It's one of the areas that I really love, and I sometimes I don't talk to people about because it can be a lot, but I'm going to go ahead and jump into it here. This event description shows if you're using the Google Calendar integration, this event description will go to Google Calendar. Something that you can do with this event description is you can go in here and you can personalize with two things. One thing that you can personalize with is the customer portal link. So that's the link that you could just click on from Google Calendar and it would open up what the customer sees. The other thing that you could customize with right here, let me find the project workroom link. If you have these saved on your event description, that means from Google Calendar, you can click on that link and open up the workroom directly from the calendar. It is so fast. It will save you some time streamlining if you're looking at your calendar, your Google Calendar, and you just want to click things in here. The other one is going to be in the production notes. You might put something here like reminder, the bride's mother is allergic to carnations. I don't know. The bride's mother is allergic to something, so just something for your team. Um, uh, just something to include in there. Any sort of production notes, it could be instructions for your team, whatever. Now, these ones only show on your prints. Okay. Now, we are going to be done inside of, or I guess from here, I'll put another place for section. You can also have notes here. So you may have a note here that says like, spoke with Alicia and she decided to go with the king's table. Whenever you have that note, that is a great way to stay in alignment with your team so that they can see everything that's going on. It's going to have a date and a timestamp on there. Now, this doesn't go anywhere necessarily like your prints, but it is a place where you can stay in contact with your team so that everybody sees what's going on for this event. All right. I'm going to jump out of the event. I'm going to jump out over here. I'm going to go to all events. Okay. Now, I want to start, I've finished out my event side. I want to start moving through my production flow. We're going to move into our shopping list and to our purchase orders and to our prints, things like that. So I'm going to move kind of quick here. These ones are pretty straightforward. But I've got my event right here. I'm going to do this from here on my dashboard. So I'm going to go ahead and create my shopping list for this event. If you were just creating a shopping list for one event, you can click here and then click on shopping list. If you're creating it for multiple events, so I know I've got this other event in the same day. I don't think I've got recipes in that other event yet, but you could still make a shopping list with them together. And so whenever you do add those recipes, it will automatically be included on that list. But I'm going to go ahead and build a shopping list. Okay. Just clicking that button, it pops up this shopping list right here. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say weekend of 2/28/26. However you want to name it. Sometimes people put the name of the customers that are in there. In your shopping list, some things to note here. It is going to do the summary of all of your items that are going to be in there. You can also add additional events in there. So say you built it with these two, but you want to add additional people, you can do that here. add additional customers, say that somebody adds an order last minute or something, and you just want to pull that in, you can. You can just click that plus button and it will add it into that shopping list. Or maybe a customer cancels. You've already started preparing it. Click on that minus button and it's going to push that out of that shopping list. This is a huge piece that was asked for in Curate Classic, and we were never able to build it there, but now we can. So you can quickly add items into the game plan or into the shopping list or remove items from the shopping list. Okay? Now, you're going to notice that next to my items that are my floral items, my rental items don't have a box, but on my items, you can just click on that drop down and you can see what event is this item in? Where can I see that in? You can also do a breakdown by the purchase order. So if you are building out your purchase orders, you can do a breakdown there as well. Any of these items that are red, it means that we have not ordered those items yet. We don't have enough to take care of this event. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my roses and I'm going to create a purchase order. And then I'm going to say, let's do Mayish, 2/28, 26. Okay. Can get my fulfillment date in here. I'm going to do the 24th. Okay. And then I can get whoever it is. I just got this vendor. Right. I'm going to jump in and view my purchase order right here. You can see I've built out my purchase order. Then once I've got that, I can send that over to my supplier directly from the system. So that will get the items that I need so that I can send them over to my supplier from Curate. So if you're not doing this process yet, now there's a lot that we haven't really dug into with this process, but if you are not doing this process yet, this is a great way to get everything within the same system. Because if I go back to my game plan, I go back to that shopping list, you can see, okay, I have ordered enough of these items. These are the items that I have left to order. It's just a great way of managing your shopping list and things that you need to purchase for your event. Okay? All right, I'm going to pass it over to Brooklyn. Brooklyn, you ready for it?
Yeah, thanks, Shannon.
Go ahead and stop my share so you can share your screen.
I'm gonna wrap us up here with a few different areas of talking about our prints and then diving into the catalog. So I'm gonna go ahead and share. All right, we should be able to see it. Okay, so yeah, to kind of go through some options here. A great tool to use as you're in the production side is going to be event prints, which I'm sure most of you all are using, but just to kind of highlight kind of different ways that you could use them, I wanted to showcase before we dive right into the print, there's two different ways really you can get to an event print. Just depends on how you like to access it. If you're wanting to access an event print and you're in the workroom, you can actually just click up here to the overview, and then there's going to be this little three dots menu, and then you can hit view prints. So some folks like to view prints just of an individual event, but we also have the option for you to view multiple events together. So you can actually, I'm going to filter by date, and we're going to take a look at the events that Shannon was working on. So I have this event here and these two. So if you want to pull multiple together in bulk, you're going to see the bulk actions bar down here. So instead of going to shopping list like what Shannon just covered, we're going to hit view prints. This is going to open up our event prints. It always defaults to the event overview, but for our florist, a lot of folks like to just dive right into our recipe sheet. So we're going to click down and we're going to view the recipe sheet. This is going to just give us a very good overview of all the different breakdowns of those recipes. We can see there's that production note Shannon added in. So those internal notes will be visible here. But you can also customize these prints. So a lot of folks, we kind of have it displayed here as a, very general view of what you might want to see of your recipe sheet. But there are some ways that you can customize this. So I want to make sure that everyone's aware. you can actually expand these different areas and you can hide things. So maybe, for example, with our recipe sheet, we don't want the contact on there. Maybe that's just better set for our event overview. We don't want that on the recipe sheet. We can take that off. If we're looking down at our other items, maybe we don't want the photos. Um, that's something that some folks really enjoy having on the recipe sheet. They want a visual, but others want to save on ink, and so they might take those
Yeah.
off. Just total preference, but you can remove those. And then
Mhm.
another popular one that we see that folks like to adjust is this two-column layout. So you'll find this under order details and then line items. You'll see this two-column layout checkbox. If you're checking that on or off, it's just depending on how you like to view it. We have a lot of florists that enjoy just kind of having them singled out in one column. So that is a way that you can adjust this and customize it. If you do like it kind of broken up so that maybe you can fit more on a page, you can go the two-column route. But I'm going to leave it like this. And then how you would save this as a custom print is you would click up here to this little page with the plus icon. It'll pop up here. We can name it. So I'm just going to say this is Brooklyn's recipe sheet, and then I'm going to save. And so this now is saved as a print type for me. So anytime I come into any event, we'll find this down here under my custom print types. So when you log in, it'll default to our event overview. But then if you want to go back to the way that you customize it with those checkboxes, it'll reset it here, and then you'll have it ready to go. So yeah, just a way that you can customize if you like certain things visible, not visible. Play around with the toggles over here, and then you'll be able to save them and come back to them later on. So just a way to save some time so that you don't have to check them every time. You can just save it. So aside from the custom prints and being able to do that, I want to also touch on now, this is an add-on feature. So I know Shannon kind of touched on that earlier. If you want to try anything out, let us know. But we
Mhm.
do have an option here that's called labels. So this is really for printing. You can buy those like sticker label sheets for your printer, and then you would be able to print this directly with the labels tab. So I'll just kind of sample this off. So this would showcase what's going to be printed as a label. But what this breakdown is, as you'll see, because I have two different events, we have Samantha and Jamal, but we also have Alicia and Alan. So this number, the 1099 or the 1100, that's referencing the event ID. We'll have the event name, the event date, and then this is the line item. So what we see a lot of florists utilize, and they like having the labels as an add-on, is because you all are using floral buckets or just ways to organize your workshop and studio. And so you can print these off, and then as you are prepping and working through the designs, or even just transporting them, it's very clear of kind of what these items are and where they belong. So yeah, check out labels if that's something that interests you. Please let us know and we can get you set up to try it out.
Mhm.
And then I guess that wraps us up with the prints of what we wanted to talk about there. But I'm going to shift us over into the catalog now to wrap us up. So, and I don't want to take up too much time because we have some exciting announcements. So we might be moving kind of quickly here, but if you all do have questions, please let us know. Cheryl's here to help us. So just chat in if you do have any questions.
Mhm.
Um, Going into the catalog here, we want to focus in on our components. So, as Shannon mentioned earlier, just to point out, if you're saving those line items, they would be saved in your catalog as a product. So, if you ever
Mhm.
want to revisit them, you would just find them here. But looking at our components, I think I saw a question come in earlier around, are these items available already loaded into the system? So yes and no. The reason I say that is because we have the option for you to load them in, but we know not everyone wants that automatically added to their account, just based off of maybe vendors or the way that you like to stay organized. So we leave it up to you if you want to load them in. And the way that you can actually access that is we have a help article here, just to kind of walk you through. I'm going to just X out of that one. To walk you through how you can find that is just to go to your chat bubble You can ask us a question here. Just type in MASH, and this will, you'll see the first one here, MASH Floral Library. And just a little tip too, you might not know this. I like a lot of tabs like Shannon. So, and I'm also kind of blind, so I like things in a larger format. So if you want to view this better, you can always click down here, Open in Help Center, and it will actually open up the help article into a
Good.
new tab. So I like to reference help articles that way. That way you kind of don't have the pop-up while you're trying to work too. You can just reference it in its own tab. So just to kind of walk through, there's a little video here that Shannon's put together. You can reference that if you want to upload. I'll kind of walk us through how that works though. But there is a file here that you can download. It's called the MASH library export. And the way that you're going to want to do this is you want to make sure you're on the components tab of your catalog. And then you're going to do a bulk import. And so if you click this button, it will pop up. You can either, there's different ways. So if you have your own, CSV files that you want to upload into your catalog, be sure to do that. But you can also lean into the one that we provide you as well. You can then choose your file. I have this one here. So if I want to open this, it'll kind of map it out. So it doesn't just automatically upload. It wants you to kind of check and make sure it's all how you want it to go into your catalog. But I can confirm, and then it's going to give me, a breakdown. Do you want to match the columns? We can confirm again. It's going to give you a little preview, and then you can hit finish, and then it will upload. I'm not going to do it because I don't want duplicates of everything here. But that is a way that you can add that to your catalog if you don't already have it. So just let us know if you have any questions or need any additional support getting that in there. But we do have it available in the Help Center for you to access. So just one
One
thing there.
thing that Oh, I was going to say one thing with that one too, is if you are looking to do an update in your account, Brooklyn, if you want to hop over to
Oh,
this,
yes.
yeah,
Settings.
and go down to export. So say that you want to do some bulk updates to your items at one time. You could just download that component catalog, make any changes in an Excel sheet, and then just send it back to us. That saves a lot of time. So if you're going to do like an update yourself, you can just download that, send it over to us, and we'll just upload it in bulk for you, which saves a lot of time on there. But thank you so much, Brooklyn. You did so good. Thank you so much for showing us through
Yes.
that for those pieces.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me stop sharing so that we can cover the big announcements.
So we are gonna just quickly look at our the last few things. So I'll share my screen a little bit right here. So those are the things that we went through today, the big production pieces. There is always more. I feel like we never have enough time to really go through pieces on there, but that's all of the big stuff that we talked about. But for our big announcements today, we've got two major announcements. The first one is that we have launched what we call a budget calculator. It is a way, something that you can embed on your website for free. I need to say that it is for free. You can use it for free. It is just something that is now possible with other pieces of development, something that you can use for free. It's something that you can embed on your website, what it can engage your leads whenever they hit their website. What we have found is that you will see, people have seen a 400% increase in the number of leads whenever you've integrated this on your website. It allows them to engage, gives them something to engage with and get that put in there. That will help you with improve your lead management because you can establish your minimum and you can set your expectations with potential clients. And honestly, I went through this flow today of setting it up. It is very easy to set it up. The other thing here, so if I wanted to just take a look at what it looks like for the customer, this is what it kind of looks like for the customer. You can embed it on your website or you can put it in your like link it on your social media. We hear that's such a hot tip. Link it on your social media because that will get people engaged. It gives your data and it sets a really good expectation. What it will do, it will take them through the flow. It will take them through the flow of setting up what they're looking for their event. This is what they would see from their side. So what would they use it for? What are they looking for? And you can customize everything that would show here. But this is a great way to capture more leads and to set good expectations with your customers that are coming through. Capture those leads. It allows them to enter everything that they're looking for. If I just do something quickly, and it will take them through and give them an estimate for what they'll be looking for their event. Such a good thing. I'm going to share the link with them. Very easy to set up and very easy to manage and get that put on your website. This is something new that we're offering to our floral customers you can take advantage of. Okay? Last big thing for before we wrap up, we are celebrating 10 years at Curate. So we've come up with several things that we can do to help celebrate with our customers so that you can celebrate with us. This one, we are partnering with Sweet Root Village. As many of you know, they are really big in the floral education space. And we are offering a free subscription to part of some of their education pieces. So you can take advantage of a 6-month Bloom tier subscription or a 2-month business tier membership. It's so cool. They are such leaders in the space. They really are forward thinkers. We've known them for many, many years, and they are so easy to chat with. They're very open and transparent about their business, what has worked for them. But you can go in, take advantage of things that they have built out. You can see what the Bloom tier is, what the business tier is. This is something that we've been keeping under wraps for a while, but we are so excited to share with you guys and get it out there for you guys. So, in the follow up email that I'm going to send out, there's going to be a link where you can sign up and take advantage of that. You're probably going to see some more things come through about this, but definitely take advantage of that. It is for free for Curate customers. So, if you are a Curate customer, you get to utilize this for free along with the budget calculator that we talked about. There is no cost. It's not an add-on. You can utilize that for free to improve your business if you are already a Curate customer. Okay, that was fast there at the end. We like to squeeze a lot, get the most out of our time. But I'll say thank you guys so much for joining us again. There is so much out there, so many things that you could be doing with your time. We don't take that for granted. Thank you for spending your time with us to learn and grow your business. We're excited to meet with you next week. All right, have a great week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.